Good day.
And to you, good day.
Um, so,
What an interesting response.
so I've had two encounters with extraterrestrials in a sort of lucid dream sort of state.
All right.
And I was just wondering if there's a message you can shed some light on for me.
Did those particular experiences inspire you in any way to act, shall we say, more fully in the direction of your highest joy?
Sort of, but I kind of was really freaked out, actually.
Freaked out.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps it would be better if you had freaked in. Thus, then, allowing yourself to go inward and understand that these experiences are shared and are given to you in order for you to tap into the frequency that is the frequency from which you will have the greatest opportunity to express your creativity in alignment with your true self. Do you understand that? These encounters give you an opportunity to feel the vibration of those encounters, the vibration of those beings, and know that you match that vibration if you desire to. And in matching that vibration, in getting that reflection and matching it, you have thus then been given the exact frequency from which to act in your life that will allow you to be most aligned with your true self. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Are you willing thus then and feel able to recall the vibration that was reflected to you in those lucid encounters?
Yes.
And when you allow yourself to recollect that vibration, how do you feel?
Really good.
All right. And do you feel more expanded and lighter?
Yes.
And do you feel more inspired to take action on the things that excite you?
Mm-hmm.
So thus then, what is it that you will take action on from this vibration?
Just to follow my heart into what excites me, which is dance and travel and...
Are these things that you've already been doing, or is there a way that you can do them in a way that is more exciting than you have been doing them?
Yeah, I've been doing them, but there's definitely more excitement.
Will you be willing thus then to give over now to your inspiration and imagination and allow yourself to design the methodology of your expression in a more exciting way, knowing that that is more representative of your total excitement rather than simply living pieces of your excitement? Are you willing to do that then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else you wish thus then to discuss with us?
Yeah, I have sometimes I have this fear that kind of gets lodged in my shoulder area, and I was just wondering if
Fear of what?
People.
Fear of people.
Yeah, it's it normally comes out when I'm around, when I'm in a social.
So are you afraid right now?
No, not so much.
She just said that you're not people.
No, it's not all the time.
The idea thus then is what we have said. The vibration that you are feeling right now without the fear, even though you are in the company of many, many people, can simply be likened to the idea of, instead of being in the company of just people, you are in the company of family. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And thus then understand that all people are your family, and the ones that you will attract and interact with that will be more reflective of your excitement will always be simply members of the family you haven't yet met.
Aww.
Do you understand? Thus then, you can allow yourself not to experience that interaction in a fearful way, but in the exciting way of curiosity to discover who the new family member is.
Oh.
Does that help you?
Yes, thank you. And I was wondering, is there a name for me in this family that the family has for me?
What name would you like? Celeste.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. And thank you to your people
Yes.
for everything you've provided for us.
All right. They all say you're welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor and pleasure.
For us as well to interact with all of you.
Thank you.
One moment. All right. Proceed.
Thank you. I'm an artist, and
All right, if you insist.
don't insist, but it's one of the things I am.
Yes.
And I would like to make a contribution in that area with my imagery, making angels, fairies, mermaids, and other mythical creatures for people to look at and enjoy.
All right.
And could you speak to that? Is there anything that you can see for me that I'm not doing or should be doing, or?
Well, there are no shoulds. But if you find that you feel you are what? Lacking in inspiration?
I think it's more fear and the things around that are in my way that need to be moved out of the way that I'm working on, actually.
And it is a fear of what? With respect to your art. And expressing yourself as fully as you would like to. Fear of what? Did we not discuss this?
I think fear of being overwhelmed with the whole thing and not being able to handle.
How would that make sense?
It doesn't.
Then why are you afraid of something that makes no sense? If it makes no sense, why would you experience it? Let me put it this way. Do you understand the concept that excitement is a complete kit?
No.
It is the driving engine and the organizing principle of your life. So if you do, in fact, act as fully as you possibly can on your highest joy, not only will it drive you, in that sense, expand your life in the way that your life needs to expand, but it will also organize your life in the way it needs to in order to allow you to handle what it has expanded to. Because if it didn't have that quality or capability, what would be the point? So the idea really is that it is a holistic kit. It is a self-governing, self-regulating energy, so that if you simply are willing to expand, then to whatever degree you expand, it will automatically bring with the expansion just exactly what it needs to have in exactly the right organizational manner for you to be capable of dealing with it. Otherwise, it would make no sense for that expansion to have happened. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it cannot be really overwhelming. In fact, the paradox is the only time you experience overwhelm is actually when you try to restrict it. Because what you become overwhelmed by is the attempt to hold back something that is a natural expansion. You understand?
Totally.
So that's what the overwhelm is actually coming from, is your resistance to the expansion, not from the expansion itself. It can't come from the expansion. Overwhelmingness can only come from resistance to the expansion, because if you allow the expansion, it will self-regulate to allow you to handle whatever you have expanded to.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes, totally.
Does that
I totally
help?
got that. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
So the idea is to move towards excitement.
To act on every opportunity that contains the highest amount of excitement that you are able to act on, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with absolutely no expectation for exactly how what is going on ought to manifest in your physical reality, and thus then arriving at the next crossroad when you can take it no further, looking around for whatever other opportunities are offered you at that moment that contain the highest excitement. Whether they seem connected to the last one or not, the excitement level lets you know it is connected, and acting on the one that contains the highest excitement, again, that contains the greatest degree of ability to take action on, taking it as far as you can with no expectation for exactly how it should manifest or line up with whatever you visualize it to be symbolically. And just keep doing that over and over and over and over again for the rest of your life.
Sounds exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Does that help?
It helps tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you. All of you, please understand that when we talk about these things, we are not discussing platitudes. We are not discussing concepts. We are describing the physics of creation. This is actually how the mechanism works. This is how the structure works. By describing the structure and allowing you the opportunity to understand the nature of the structure of existence, then you can use the structure, you can use the framework in this way to your advantage. Because it becomes obvious what you need to do when you understand the underlying structure. It all becomes very simple and clear. Yes, creation is very complex, but at its heart, it is not complicated. It is based on extremely simple principles, because if it were based on complicated principles, it wouldn't stand up under its own weight, being infinite and all. The only way that creation can be infinite is if it is based on a simple framework. That's what allows the idea for infinite probabilities, is the simplicity of its basic constituents. Proceed.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
It's an honor for me to be here. I just want to acknowledge that you've been one of the greatest teachers of my life.
And so have all of you to us.
I've been exposed to your materials for about 22 years.
Exposed.
Exposed.
Sounds like we're radioactive.
Through tapes and CDs and teleconferences, but this is the first time I've had the chance to talk with you.
Oh, all right.
So,
Welcome. It is the first chance we've had to speak with you as well. Isn't that exciting?
It's very exciting.
Thank you.
I think I've shifted to the reality where that's possible.
You think?
I believe
You believe?
I've shifted to the reality.
You know.
I know.
Thank you.
I know I've shifted to the reality where that's possible.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different shifts going on this weekend.
Well, yes, all the time.
And I think it's become more conscious. For me, it's become
That's what we have said. This is what it's all about, allowing yourself to become more conscious of the fact that the shifting is always going on. It's not that you're learning to shift. You're just learning to become conscious of the fact that you always have been shifting. Thus, you can direct it consciously in the way you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so?
One of the things that really has worked, that I've learned from you, has been that about limitation, and that we're masters of limitation.
Yes.
And for me, that was very important because I came into this life, I chose to come into this life with a limitation that was probably greater than a lot of people.
Such as?
I have a visual problem. And
A challenge.
a visual challenge. I was born with something that's genetic that is usually associated with aging.
All right.
But it had a lot of surgery as a child that caused complications.
All right. And now?
And now I think that I understand that I chose that.
All right.
And I understand that one of the reasons may be that I needed to see things differently.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you could possibly shed some light on other reasons.
What is your creative expression in life?
I'm a technology person. I'm a computer programmer.
This is exciting to you?
It is. Problem solving is exciting to me.
Oh, I see. Need I say more? The very fundamental idea of solving a challenge is what's most exciting to you. And therefore you set yourself up with some great challenges to show that you had the ability to solve them, to shift.
Sometimes it seems too complicated.
I know.
And
But nevertheless, that's what makes it most exciting for you.
right.
You like that degree of challenge. Now, you can change that if you wish to. You can shift that if you wish to. But understand that's why you have created such great challenges, because that's actually what you love to experience in order to have great challenges to shift.
So if I want to shift, I can shift to a reality that's simpler.
You can, yes, because you have conceived of it. So, do you find the idea of shifting to a simpler reality challenging?
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Yes.
What do you imagine shifting to a simpler reality would be experienced like? What do you visualize that would look like when you see yourself, a version of yourself, experiencing that parallel reality? Can you describe it to us?
On the inside, I would feel calmer.
And on the outside?
Well, I think I project calmness. I also,
But you don't feel it?
I don't feel it.
I see.
And I would like my life to be more integrated.
Oh, all right. And how would you like to go about doing that?
Right now, I'm attracted to crystals.
Oh, all right.
And
when you say you would like your life to be more integrated, what do you mean by that? How does that express itself in the reality that you're picturing?
I think I see it more like a mandala.
But what I am saying is, how does that version of yourself behave differently than you're behaving? Do you see the version of yourself that exists in the parallel reality you say you would like to shift to? Can you see that version of yourself in your mind's eye?
Yes, and it's very similar to my life now.
Similar is not identical. So the point is what are the differences?
The difference is how I'm experiencing it.
And how does the difference in experience make a difference in how you behave outwardly from her? How is she behaving differently than you behave, being in the reality already that you prefer to be in? How is she behaving differently in that reality than you behave in the one that you say you're in?
I'm not sure there is much of a difference.
I didn't say there had to be much.
Right.
But find the difference.
Okay.
Because it may be that simple. It may only be one thing. Remember, we have discussed this analogy before with the idea of what you call one of your engines. Back when you were first learning about the expansion of consciousness, or back even before that idea in your society, the reflection of having very simplistic engines, they could chug along being very dirty and filthy, and they were simply so simple that they could always chug along. But now you have a highly refined technology by comparison. You have very high tolerances, shall we say, in some of the engines that you build now. And so the smallest speck of dust in those high tolerance engines can actually freeze the entire engine. So it may not take much to stop the entire forward momentum because you're working with such tiny little tolerances now that that's all it takes to freeze the entire mechanism. So it doesn't necessarily have to be much of a difference, but it could make all the difference in your world.
Yes.
So, what is any difference you notice between you and her in her behavior? Look at her body language. Notice any difference?
Body language would be about the same, I think.
The same or about the same?
I'm not good with the same.
Anything else? What would she do differently than what you're doing?
I think a more spiritual practice.
Such as?
Spiritual practice.
Do you see her doing that?
Yes.
See her doing that. What is she doing?
Meditating, holding crystals, communicating with crystals.
Observe specifically how she's actually doing. And then mirror her in thought, word, and deed.
Yes.
And you will shift your vibration to the reality she occupies. But you have to pay close attention to every single thing she does in every single circumstance that she does it, to see that she might be doing something slightly different than you would be doing.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
So you have to observe her when she goes shopping. Observe her when she's sleeping. Observe her when she's watching television. Look at how she might do things differently in any way, shape, or form, and mirror her to the best of your ability. If she is truly representative of the reality you say you prefer, or if she's not, then make sure your picture is representative of the reality you prefer in all ways you can imagine it, and use that as a symbol to create the energy vibration in yourself. We're not saying that the way you're picturing it in your physical mind's eye is the way it actually has to manifest. You're only using this as a symbol to get you in the proper state of energy. because your physical mind can't necessarily imagine how it might really manifest, and therefore the picture is not something you have to place an expectation on. But the idea is that the picture is there to put you in the proper energy that will allow the higher mind to bring you the reality in the way that it would manifest best for you being that version of yourself. But you need to at first start mirroring her in thought, word, and deed in all circumstances and situations if you want to be the vibration of the reality that she expresses. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, and the thought that came to me
Yes.
is that a lot of times I've put it in the future.
Yes.
I want to be that person in the future and
Yes.
bring it closer and
Very
closer.
good. Very good. You see, as soon as you allowed yourself to actually step into that vibration, you got the inspiration that told you exactly what you were doing that you need to stop doing.
Right.
You see, the information came immediately to you by being in the now. So very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bashar, how are you?
Perfect, and you?
Great.
All
Thanks.
right.
All right, I have a couple different questions. I'll start with the most mundane and then work up into the
Mundane.
exciting one.
They're all exciting, aren't
Yeah,
they?
but some are more exciting than others.
All right.
And it's more for clarification purposes, this one. When you're working through situations and you're following your excitement,
Yes.
and I've come to understand that the excitement is the path that also shows you where your blocks are,
Yes.
limiting beliefs are.
Yes.
Which is a good thing because then you can find them and clear them. So you keep doing this and doing this.
Yes.
When my question is, when do you kind of get the sense that it's done and it's time to move on, when the next exciting thing that's completely different from what you're doing?
When you have taken it as far as you possibly can and you have no other way of moving forward on it. Now, this doesn't mean you can't do also more than one thing. It doesn't mean you can't multitask in different directions. Sometimes you will find that if you're acting on your excitement, you can only take it to a certain point today. Doesn't mean you can't take it farther tomorrow. But if you're done today, then turn to the next most exciting thing that you can do something about and take that as far as you can, until such time as circumstances bring you the opportunity to take the other exciting thing further.
Okay, so you don't necessarily make the decision to extricate yourself out of something to go somewhere where it hasn't yet appeared. You wait till that appearance of the new kind of starts to show itself before you would leave doing something that is...
Unless you simply find that what you're doing is no longer exciting, then you can simply choose to stop doing it.
Yeah.
But if it is really still representative of your excitement, it is unlikely that you would stop until the event itself shows you that there is a need to stop, by making it impossible for you to move forward.
Okay, so as long as you can keep moving it forward a little bit.
Then keep moving it forward. This is where your imagination comes into play. Because the idea is that when you arrive at a place that seems like a dead end, very often it actually is simply an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction. And the only reason it would seem like a dead end is because you have certain definitions or beliefs that you shouldn't turn that way or you shouldn't turn that way. But if you pay attention to all of those things and see the arrow, then the arrow is telling you that even though you may need to turn left, that might actually be the shortest path instead of insisting on going straight ahead and simply banging your head into a wall.
But when you're really out of the excitement, see, it's part of it's exciting, part of it isn't.
Then you're not doing your excitement if
Okay.
only part of it is exciting. The whole idea of when we say act on your highest excitement is that all the components of it need to be representative of that too. How you do it, when you do it, where you do it, with whom you do it. All of that is part and parcel of making it a holistic expression of what you call your excitement. So do that to the best of your ability on all levels at once so that you're moving forward holistically instead of piecemeal, which is not acting on your highest excitement. This is why, in a sense, it's kind of what you call in your language a black and white idea. If you are only experiencing, in your estimation, just to put numbers on it, something that is 80% of your excitement but not 100, you're not experiencing your excitement. That's another idea altogether. You're only experiencing an idea that expresses 80% of it, but that's not your fullest excitement. You understand?
Yeah.
So it really is kind of an on or off, 0 or 1 idea. It either really is your excitement or it's not by definition.
And you can reconfigure it with what your
Absolutely.
preferences are.
Absolutely.
But if they're not agreed to on the other end, then you...
Well, you find that that gives you an opportunity to find out why they're not agreed to and find out whether there's something you can do that would allow you to shift to a point where you're working with a version of something that does agree to it, or allow you to change directions completely because that's telling you that that's not the direction of your excitement. You have to be able to make that discernment.
Okay. Any little things that come in to give you that?
When you stay in the vibration, as was just illustrated before, when you stay in the vibration that is representative of your holistic excitement, even if all the components aren't represented at that moment, by staying in that vibration, you will receive the understanding, the inspiration, and the knowledge to let you know the difference.
And that negative ego isn't going to trick you at that point because you're staying in the vibration, so it can't come in and kind of, pretend that it's something that it's, how it tricks you and kind of works around with your...
Well, if you say that that's what happens, then that's what's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Because you have a belief that it can trick you. Let me put it to you this way, because this goes hand in hand with this concept of protection. The best protection is not needing any. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Allow your vibration to know that the idea you have just expressed has nothing to do with the definition of the vibration of your excitement. How could the definition of your highest excitement contain the idea of the negative ego tricking you?
Yeah.
That is absolutely a non sequitur idea.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Thus then, if you still find that by following your excitement, because as was pointed out, it does bring up the things that are not representative of that vibration to bring them to your attention so you can transform them. If it does bring up that scenario, the idea is that thus then is an opportunity to stay within your excitement by having that aspect of your belief system revealed to you by your excitement. So, even though it may come up that it appears as if your negative ego has quote-unquote tricked you, by staying in the appropriate vibration, by staying in the preferred vibration, it actually won't have the effect of tricking you. It will just be brought to your attention that you have the belief that it can. And thus then you'll be able to deal with it from that energy. You will not devalue that as a choice, and you'll be able to simply choose what you prefer by staying in that balanced energy. It will just come to you as a concept, not as an effect in your life.
Okay.
You understand the difference?
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Does that help you?
It does. And
Do you think I'm tricking you?
No,
Oh, all right.
I know you're not, because I don't contain that in my belief system.
Yes, all right. Thank you.
One of the things that you mentioned before, I think in Vortex Vibrations, about the Vesica Pisces
Yes,
from Mount Shasta and Sedona creating right over Area 51.
yes.
Are there attributes of that Vesica Pisces that we are tapping into or utilizing in this transformation? And is there the same scenario out here on the East Coast? Is there that same kind of grid layout over here?
Yes,
Where?
and yes.
Oh, good. Where? It's very exciting.
Where is the overlap?
Where is the one on the East Coast?
Yes, one moment. We are scanning. Of course, you understand that at this particular moment, it is right where you are because of the vortex you created to shift into a parallel reality. So you have focused it, you have magnified, amplified, and focused it to a particular location to suit your particular collective purposes. That's how you've used the energy of that overlap. But in its natural state, the strongest area is what you call the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. All right. So when we're doing these parallel shifting reality things, we're actually tapping into those Vesica Pisces
Yes.
things that you're
You're tapping into the vortices and you are applying them to your means and your ends.
So where over here, if the Vesica Pisces is a Bermuda Triangle, where would be the chakra point and where would be the vortex? Like, you know how Shasta's the chakra point and Sedona's the vortex, the way you explained it
Yes.
that first time?
But the only major chakra point is Shasta in the North American continent.
Oh, okay.
The idea, however, of the Bermuda Triangle, as you name it, is that it is actually the major shifting vortex on your entire planet. It is an overlap of a multitude of dimensions. It is a major gateway in that context. Thus, then, it functions almost like a chakra and a vortex simultaneously. It is a completely different animal than a regular vortex or a regular chakra point. It is a combination of that and more.
Okay.
One moment. In a sense, it is really a conduit, a tunnel, a bridge, a hub, an overlap of a multitude of vortices and Vesica Pisces from different realities and different dimensions. Look at it multidimensionally instead of simply on a flat plane. Do you understand? It is an overlap of Vesica Pisces from a multitude of civilizations and dimensions of reality.
Are there do the conduits come up? You know how the ley lines of the earth and the gridding of the earth. Are there any specific like tracks or lines that come up from there up through where we are, like up through Connecticut, Rhode Island, through?
Yes, it passes fundamentally through the area you call New Haven.
Okay, all right,
Whatever temperature you want it to be.
makes sense. So how are the hybrid children working with this now? I get a sense like somehow
They have been working with the idea of vortices for quite some time. This is one of the things they are taught in terms of how to relate to the idea of the energy of your world.
There's a particular child that I've been told I have a connection with. I wondered if you might be able to give me any information on that.
Explore Sanskrit.
Okay.
You will find something in the exploration of the culture that you call Sumeria that will connect directly to that hybrid child. And the Sanskrit language will give you some clues as well.
All right, cool.
Again, there's that temperature.
And what's the Shalanaya? What is their DNA makeup?
Partially the idea of the humans of your world and the humans from a parallel reality that have mutated that you typically call a faction of the Greys.
Okay.
All the hybrid civilizations are of that genetic makeup, which in that context actually really makes us simply a different type of human. We are not really alien to you. We are extraterrestrial, but not alien. You understand?
Yeah.
We are a different kind of human. Because all our DNA is actually human, but it comes from different parallel reality.
Is there any messages from the kids that they want to share to us, all of us today now?
They had a lot of fun experiencing the energy that you co-created in shifting from this parallel reality of the hurricane to the one of the tropical storm. They felt in that sense it kind of like a very wild roller coaster ride.
Cool.
And it was quite enjoyable for them.
Good.
They say, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, all right, one moment. They ask for a more literal translation. We... Or, if you wish, whoopee.
All right, and then the last question is Lodi the name that is the child that is connected, and I'll find more out through Sanskrit and Sumeria?
It is a vibration that is tangential to that, but you can also use a different vibration for that particular entity. That is more a vibration that is a recognition of what the child does than what you would call a name.
Is there a better name?
A more appropriate vibrational appellation?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
What could that be?
What could that be? Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel the vibration of the child. What immediately comes to you?
My own son,
Who is?
Jace.
But it is not that. But it is a counterpart of that. Are you shortening the name?
I don't know.
Jason.
Really?
You understand?
Yes, Jay.
Yes. J, son.
Yes. Okay. All right, cool. So Jay.
J, if you wish, or J, son.
Jay, son. Okay.
J dot son.
S-U-N?
No.
S-O-N.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Does that help you?
It does. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
So,
One moment. One moment. One moment. There is unfinished business with Jason. You may remain where you are. One moment. We are simply receiving a download. One moment. Where will you next go that would be considered a vacation or an adventure?
Rock Island.
Why?
Because we love it there.
Why? 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 Why there? What is the energy there for you? What does it allow you to feel being in that space? Was the sigh your answer?
No, it is just so peaceful and connected and...
Then when you are in the energy of that space, you will find that especially in your dreams, but perhaps even more consciously than that, you'll actually be able to connect very strongly to Jason.
Really? That's...
Yes.
That makes so much sense.
Really?
Oh my God. But that we've done work there, clearing that area.
All right. So thus then the information came through from Jason that it's actually easier to be in connection with him and communicate with him when you're in that area because it's so much more representative of the vibration of the connection between you.
And that's where we conceived our first son.
All right, well, there you go.
So there it is.
It's also actually where Jason was conceived in a sense, because that's where the material was taken.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
All